Anyone listening who wants to achieve stuff in life, God, have a notebook. For the love of God, have a notebook and take notes every day. As you're going throughout the day, at the end of the day, just, you got to be writing stuff down. Every great person that has walked this earth has taken notes, journaled, had a diary, if you want, whatever you want to call it. Hands down, you got to get the thoughts out of your head. You got to be able to look back at the information that was going through your head. You can't remember everything. You just can't. You can't recall all those little details. So writing stuff down, being organized, that's huge. You got to do that.
Hi guys!
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the SupersetYourLife.com podcast, your weekly dose of inspiration, entertainment, and education to fuel your life inside and beyond the gym.
Colt and Drew had a killer talk about what keeps them motivated in building their businesses. Colt learned so much from him, and before we jump into the interview, I wanted to read this directly off their website because it's inspiring and will give you an idea of who he had the opportunity to speak with. Freedom Fitness. This is who we are. Freedom Fitness stands out as a service-focused hybrid training gym. Our facility seamlessly blends alternative training with traditional gym, the best of both worlds. Here you will find indoor field turf, kettlebells, punching bags, and Olympic lifting, as well as cardio equipment, dumbbells, and cable machines. At Freedom Fitness, we care about you achieving the results you dream of, not just running with a big box style gym. We are in the results business, not the gym business. Using the proprietary Freedom Fitness training system, our members are guaranteed results. All you have to do is show up, enjoy your workouts we designed for you, and follow your personalized nutrition guidelines. We are not going to try to sell you on a magical equation. We just supply the motivation, support, and a solid budget-friendly, professionally designed program that enables you to achieve the results you want. Our mission and vision: to revolutionize the conventional gym and health club system of tedious one-on-one personal training and endless rows of monotonous cardio equipment. We achieve this by designing our training programs to be collaborative, interactive, and affordable in order to reach out to the broader population base of individuals who want to be the healthiest and strongest version of themselves. In the upcoming years, our vision is to bring health and fitness to the masses by opening our hybrid gyms in the neighborhoods all across the country with internal culture and atmosphere that supports and motivates the members to not only reach and exceed their health and fitness goals. Our vision will be realized when Freedom Fitness is defined not by how much it fits the mold of big box gyms, but by success, happiness, and well-being of the people in our communities. And with that, here's the interview with Colt and Drew.
What's going on, podcast? We got Mr. Drew DeVry in the car and on the podcast right now. He has both hands on the steering wheel, so don't worry about him right now. We're doing this safely, but super amped to have this guy on the show. A man that I have a lot of respect for. So he is the founder of Freedom Fitness Gym in Seattle, Washington. He has two locations there, one in Burien and one in Federal Way. Physique and strongman competitor, nutritionist, and co-founder of Voller Beach Volleyball Apparel. That's quite the resume, sir. So
yeah, try to fit a lot in,
Yeah, obviously he's going from one meeting to the next. And so I just appreciate your time, man. Okay.
Of course.
My client, Todd Rogers, spoke really highly of Drew, his brand, his gym. So we've been meeting there just to check in and I try to schedule my own workouts there whenever I can too, because I love this place. It's a lot like what Taylor and I want Skull Bell's gym to feel like. It has a welcoming family atmosphere with childcare and a whole bunch of novelty pieces of bodybuilding and strongman equipment that you just don't find at commercial gyms, big box gyms. There's a strong patriotic vibe inside. If you like freedom, if you like fitness, you need to get a workout in at this place. Also, they were voted #1 best gym in 2017, 2018 of Western Washington by the residents. Not surprising at all. Also, they have a 21-day December boot camp program. We're going to talk more about that. So you're going to want to listen to about halfway through, probably is when we'll get to it. Take you through the holidays, keep you on track with your fitness goals. It's going to be discounted. For more information on that and anything about Freedom Fitness Gym and Drew and what they're up to, you can send an email to CUST_serve, SERV, at freedomfitnessgym.com. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes. Also, I'm going to put their phone number. Drew's Instagram is @DrewDeVry. All that will be in the show notes. Okay, we are ready to get in the interview, sir. Thank you very much, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So what made you pick the name Freedom Fitness?
Well, it's what my last name means, actually. So it's a Dutch name. DE is an article. It means of the, and DeVry means free. So I'm of the free. So I just kind of like turned that into freedom. And, I do have a lot of patriotism running through my blood. My dad being in the Navy, fighter pilot, I wasn't able to join the military, any part of it, because of health problems that I had when I was younger, which played into my desire to be very healthy and live a healthier life. I was able to turn my health around from being a very sick kid and, having enough health ailments where the military wasn't going to be an option. But turning it all around, and really, like, it's just been a passion of mine to find optimal health and then to share it with others. So yeah, that's where the name came about, and part of my backstory of why this all started and why it's still moving forward.
Awesome. That's super inspiring, man. I've heard horror stories of fitness enthusiasts opening up gyms and then they suffer from burnout from their own gym training, their health, and just fitness in general. Is this something that you've ever struggled with?
No, not really. I don't know. I've just been blessed with a lot of energy, and I guess, I don't know. It seems like sometimes it can be a detriment to always look on the bright side and always try and be positive no matter what. Actually, it kind of annoys some people. Like, can't you just, stop? It doesn't always have, you have to put a positive spin on everything. So yeah, I mean, I just love what I do. I, am very enthusiastic about it. And it's, something that I tell my kids, like, they're like, hey, can we do this? I'm like, no, I'm got to go to work. But, I only said that a few times to them before I realized that I didn't want to say that I was going to work, because it wasn't really going to work. I started telling them, I've got to go help people live a healthier life. They need me. I've got information and help and motivation that they need, and I got to go do that. It's something I have to do, and so it's something that maybe you'll do someday too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do you want to come with me? Why don't you come with me? No, we're gonna stay home and play. Okay, fine.
I love how you incorporate them with that too. That was one of the questions I was going to get to, actually. So that's great. I can just go right into that. Is that have you found it difficult to struggle, or have you found it difficult to go back and forth and to give equal time to your businesses and to your children in the way that both of them deserve, without taking from one another? It sounds like you really mold them together.
Yeah, I've found it, honestly, I find it more difficult to devote time to work than to my kids. A lot of fun. All they want to do is yeah, and having adventures. We want to go to the park. Yeah, I love the park. Let's go to the park. Let's go find some trees to climb. Let's do this. Let's do that. Aquarium. I love aquariums. So it's like, that's why I like, no, I got to go help people. I got to go to the gym and help people. They need me. So that's kind of like how I had to turn it, because they just want to play. And, but you got to get work done. So I haven't found it that hard to keep the balance. Yeah, I love both of it, having the kids, and I love what I do for work. And then my kids have spent an abnormal amount of time in the gym. Most anyone that I think has kids in their own gym and can bring their kids to the gym, have them, hang out there, would hopefully be doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. And then when my kids were young, for the first 5 or 6 years of at least my older son's life, we lived 4 blocks away from the gym. So they were there all the time, every day, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, hours on end. And, you know, it was great, you know, to just have them there, have my wife there, just hanging out, doing whatever. That's where the kids area started off. I was like, I got to have a kids area for these guys. Geez, I got to throw them in here. Okay, let's do this. Let's get that going. And yeah, so it was good for members, you know, like, oh, look at your kids are growing up so much. And, you know, it really incorporated the whole family gym and made it a good atmosphere, I think.
That's awesome. And I love how you keep saying, I've heard you say this like 4 or 5 times now, I'm helping people, which is true. And it's exactly what, you know, Taylor and I are doing. And the very similar vision that we have too, is you see, it's like the whole world's answer to everything that's been happening the last couple of years is to fix it on the back end. And it's all pharmaceutical and it's all wear masks and take. It's like, that's not the answer, bro. The answer is you got to be healthy.
That's right. Amen to that.
We're handling this proactively.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100% agree.
What was your biggest challenge in starting Freedom Fitness?
Biggest challenge, marketing. I was a great trainer and I had no trouble giving the time and attention to everyone that came through my gym. It was, you know, so that's your client retention. You know, I was perfect at that. I gave everyone top level service. But the problem was figuring out how to get more people. That was the biggest challenge. You know, I mean, I was always a fan of math, so keeping track of the books and doing that kind of stuff wasn't hard. You know, I wasn't, you know, I liked writing, but it was really like, it was trying to get new people in. And so really it was at one point in time, I realized, okay, maybe I should do a newsletter. Started doing a newsletter. That was the first big step in my marketing journey, is, you know, just reaching out to people on a regular basis, building that know, like, and trust factor on a weekly basis. I started off just once a month doing a newsletter, and that was great. It worked to keep in touch with people and to let them know about any type of program or promotion I wanted to do. But then going to once a week, that was a really big thing for keeping me in the front of people's minds. You know, you got to be able to, when people think, God, you know, I really need to do something about this. I'm carrying around extra weight. I don't feel that good. My energy's low. I need to do something. You know, you really got to be the first thing that comes to mind for those people. And, you know, it's tough to compete against, you know, these big box gyms with huge budgets that can have TV commercials, that can do billboards, that can sponsor the Super Bowl, you know, like it's just, that's tough.
Yeah. And their marketing techniques, their tactics, I guess I would call them, are so below the belt and not cool, for lack of better, like, business term, I guess, you know, where it's like we all know what the big box gym business model is. It's you sell them on the program, you sell them on the membership. It's dirt cheap and they never come back. And most of their 95% of everything that they make is just from members that aren't coming there, and they don't want them to keep coming back, because if they do, then they would be over capacity. So
yeah.
So to do it ethically the way that you've done is something that I just have a huge amount of respect for, because I know that what you do is so much different than the big box gyms. You know, we've been studying this kind of marketing, and we're trying to figure out, like, okay, how can we do this ethically, but still make it work, and still keep it open, and, you know, open up and be able to pay our rent, be able to pay our lease, and be able to stay in business. So that was actually something I was going to ask you. That was literally my next question, is were you scared that you would invest your heart and soul into a business and then not have enough memberships to keep it going? Was that a fear that you had?
No. I live in this optimistic realm of reality where I'm always like, no, I got this. No, it'll be fine. But it might not work. What are you talking about? Yeah. No, naysayer, leave me alone. You know, and so And there's another part of me that just absolutely adores risk. You know, I don't want to like risk my life. I don't want to risk the stability of, you know, taking care of my family. But, you know, initially when I got things started, didn't have a family. I lived in my sister's basement. What do I have to lose?
Yeah.
Nothing. So all in. But, you know, then when I started the gym, it was just a little hole in the wall gym, and it was in a bad part of the city, you know, and but I made it work. And when I got out of there into the larger retail location, then shortly after we had our first child, and that was when it kind of got real. Like, you're not living in your sister's basement anymore, bud.
Yeah.
You've got a house payment and a child, and now there's some medical bills. And so that definitely put a different spin on things. And then, you know, having a second child, and okay. So, but still, you know, I mean, there's the pressure to make sure you're providing. But yeah, still then, you know, you push and things are doing great. And all right, hey, we're making money. I should start a second location. And then you're right back where you started, and like, oh man, like, okay, we got to push. But it's just that, I don't know, the risk to me, I love it. It's enjoyable. I get really lackluster when I'm on cruise mode. I'm like, okay, I've got this. We're cruising. All right, I should make this harder. I need to make this harder.
Yeah.
Love a challenge.
It's a good dopamine hit.
Exactly.
Yeah. All these supplements and ingredients and pre-workouts, like, oh, this increases dopamine. I'm like, why just do something with your life? Take a risk, you know?
Yeah. Right.
That's good stuff, man. No, I love this mindset. Today's leg day too. I'm hitting legs right after this. So this is like the, you know, kind of motivation and everything that I need right now. It's
nice.
Good stuff. Yep. All right. Let's see. What's one piece of advice that you would give to ambitious young entrepreneurs like ourselves that would like to open a gym someday, similar to like what you've done?
I would say to seek out the advice of someone who's already done it.
That's why I'm having this conversation. Sorry to interrupt.
Because
you, man.
Yeah, there's so many things. It's like, yeah, you look back, it's like, yeah, that was dumb. I can't believe I didn't, you know, include that in this. And man, I wish I would have thought of this, you know, 6 months ago, 12 months ago. Man, that would have been, you know, there's just so many little things that are necessary. Like, you know, just for example, the HVAC systems in your space, make sure that they are with, you know, that they're at the most 5 years old. And if they're older than that, you got to have something in place for the landlord to take care of that. That was one of the, like, I got into my new retail location after I moved out of the hole in the wall spot, and I didn't even think to check on how old the HVAC systems were. Oh, they're both on their last leg, both 15 years old. One goes out not even a full year into my lease. And, you know, I was talking to the landlord about it and letting him know that, you know, what happened. They were not forthcoming. I just didn't know any better into, you know, having them get it fixed. But, you know, time lapsed, and then the other one goes out, and I'm like, I'm screwed. Can you guys, and it was a mess. It was, you know, those things are $15,000 a piece. And, you know, I was fortunate to be able to, you know, get to a spot to work with the landlord, but, you know, and have them prorated into my rent, but then your rent jumps, you know? So, you know, that's just one of the things among, you know, dozens and dozens of things that I've come across that, like, if you just know better, if you've got someone, you know, like, hey, what about this? What about that? And so I've been taking notes the entire time. And that's something anyone listening who wants to achieve stuff in life, God, have a notebook. For the love of God, have a notebook and take notes every day, you know, as you're going throughout the day. At the end of the day, just, you know, you got to be writing stuff down. Every great person that has walked this earth has taken notes, journaled, had a diary, if you want, whatever you want to call it. Hands down, you got to get the thoughts out of your head. You got to be able to look back at the information that was going through your head. You can't remember everything. You just can't. You can't recall all those little details. So writing stuff down, being organized, that's huge. You got to do that.
That's awesome. Wow. Thanks for that. One thing before I forget, you were mentioning that you went from a hole in the wall location to a retail location. Did you notice an increase in your memberships and people becoming aware of your gym just from walking to what do you have right next to you? You got PCC, not Jimmy John's, that sandwich place.
Yeah, there's a Jersey Mike's, PCC, Verizon store. There's a frozen yogurt place right next door that, it's like the tween date spot.
Oh, you shouldn't have told me that. Now I'm going to be tempted next time.
Yeah. But, it's interesting. This is not a heads up world. It really isn't, especially with phones these days. I mean, it's a heads down world. And I still have so many people that I'm in this local area around my gym here in Burien, and people are like, talking to them like, "Oh, you have a gym? Where's that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's right next to PCC." They're like, "Really? I go to PCC all the time. I've never seen a gym over there." I'm like, "Yeah, it's where the frozen yogurt spot is? Yeah, I go there sometimes. Yeah, it's right next door." It is? Like, okay, yeah. Like that happens more times than I can tell you. It's ridiculous. I'm like, how do you not notice? Oh, okay, fine. No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. They've got blinders on. They're going to do their thing. They're thinking about other stuff. They're not looking around. So back to marketing. Yeah, you gotta, hit them when their eyes are open on the social media feed or going through their email inbox. That you got to be able to do that these days. Otherwise, you're not going to get seen. It doesn't matter where you're at. I mean, you can maybe have the super prime location on the end cap of a building with a gigantic sign and banners and stuff like that. But those spots are going to cost a lot more money per square foot. The landlords know that those are good spots.
Yeah.
So, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. We're thinking for ours, we're thinking maybe even warehouse space too, because it's going to be a third manufacturing, a third warehouse, and a third gym because of the equipment aspect of it that we're making right now. Everything we're just making here in our shop, and then is out of our garage basically. So yeah, we'll have to check the regulations on the retail space. And so far, everybody that we've talked to said that it's totally okay to do what we're doing. So might have like a little foundry on the strip mall down the road.
Right on.
How we doing on time?
Running short.
Okay, you got to get going.
I got a couple minutes left still.
Okay, cool. I'll just ask you one more question then. Two more. One on the holiday thing for you, and then just basically one to wrap up. So real quick. So we're coming up on the holidays as a nutrition coach. What's your mindset going into this season where there's certainly no shortage of non-bodybuilding friendly foods?
Right. Yeah. I would have to say that, you got to follow the rule of 80-20 and, just focus on like 80% of your diet being still like true to what is correct and good for your health. And, keep putting in your workouts, of course, but it's just, you got to have the majority of it be really good food. And I'm not saying, like marginally good food. I'm talking like stay on point 80% of the time. And then that 20%, it almost doesn't really matter how naughty you want to be because the other is so good that it just outweighs that little portion. Your body just kind of burns through it. It's not just sugars. I mean, that's part of it, right? But it's also the chemical additives and the other foods that come into us. And, when we're having treats, sometimes there's chemical additives in them, but it's, for the most part, it's the stuff you're having day in and day out with the additives that really are a burden on the system. It's a burden on your metabolism, your hormone balance and everything. And the standard American diet is a real detriment that I don't think most people have any grasp on how hard it is on our bodies. And so that makes it tough. People are not focused on vegetables. They're not focused on healthy fats and resistant starches. They're like, no, this is healthy, right? Like I'm pretty sure this is healthy. It's whole grains. I'm like, you just said grains. So,
glad we're on the same page with grains, by the way.
Yeah. And, or just for, even not finding non-GMO grains, like, okay, we're going to have grains. Is it non-GMO? Is it organic? And they're like, does that really matter? I'm like, well, yeah, it does. If you do some research, you find out that the non-GMO is carrying a whole lot of crap in it.
Yeah. You write people's macros.
Or the GMO, I should say, not GMO. I said that backwards. Sorry.
Yeah, I know what you meant. When people come to you for nutrition plans, you write out their macros and everything, right? And so they're hitting a specific number of proteins, fats, and carbs.
Yeah, so I do use that because it's good for people to have numbers to look at, so they have some boundaries. But I am way more focused on quality over quantity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's so.
And that's actually why I brought this up too, because what I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen the same thing, is if somebody comes in eating a certain number of calories, they've been tracking everything, and they're eating Quest bars, keto bars that has all this stuff that you're saying in it that is not optimal hormonally, and then they swap it all out for sweet potatoes, for steak, and for actual quality sources of meat. They literally the same macros. They will build more muscle and lose fat just because of everything that's happening hormonally.
Yes.
Sleeping.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm right with you, brother.
Awesome. Last question is, as you know, a superset is a technique that is used to alternate exercises of opposing muscle groups to enhance the results of each. So have you found fitness in and of itself to be a superset that makes you a better dad, makes you a better coach, and a better business owner?
Yeah, definitely. It promotes balance. When you understand how to be the most fit, it's just like a superset, right? If you're pushing and you're pulling, for me at this point in my life, in my 40s, having to work on a computer a lot, posture becomes a thing. And if I have a pushing day without doing some type of pulling, my shoulders hurt the next day.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the balance.
Exactly.
I don't have the balance, right? And so, you just learn, like, everything you do in life needs to have balance. You can't always, if you're doing let's do lunges, you can't always step with your right leg forward. No, of course not. And it's just, that's like one of those, I got to do both sides equally, right? Yeah. Well, what about everything else in life? You've got all these other aspects. You got to keep it balanced. Otherwise you get out of balance, and then things start falling apart and things start breaking. Yeah.
Yeah. Work, recover, work out, recover, work out, recover. It's what superset your life, man.
Yep.
All right. Well, appreciate your time so much. Thanks for being on the call, brother. Appreciate you squeezing me into your schedule. And I'll be up in your neck of the woods here in a few weeks. And so hopefully I'll catch you there. And if not, it's all cool, man. You motivate the hell out of me, man. You really, really do. So again, just thanks so much.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you having me on. I really do.
All right.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us on this episode. If you found this helpful or entertaining, we ask if you would please share this with a friend. We also would love to hear what you think of our show, so any ratings or reviews are very much appreciated. We have a new episode every Saturday morning, so please subscribe so you don't miss them. Thank you again, and God bless.